March is here, and with that, college basketball moves into the chaos that is tournament time. I'm joined at the desk by our experts, Ennis, Warlick, and Megan Podgorski, to discuss which conference tournaments have the biggest impact on the big dance. Now, Megan, Penn State earned a huge victory over Ohio State, their third victory of the season over the Buckeyes. Is Penn State in the tournament?
I don't think so. For me, this year, college basketball has been hyper competitive. Certain conferences like the ACC and the Big 12 have so many teams that could have spots that are normally given to the Big 10. In the Big 10, yes, they have, the Buckeyes are always great, but it's been,
team, yeah.
It's a great team.
Yeah.
But for me, they're not there yet. And even if they did get there, they'd be out in the first couple rounds.
Okay, so Penn State is a very shaky team. They're kind of on the bubble here. But here's the thing about Penn State. They played almost every team that they played very, very tough.
Yes, absolutely.
Mind you, Matt already pointed out, they've already beaten Ohio State 3 times. Vanderbilt beat Florida 3 times last year, and they had a 9-15 record. They still got into the tournament. I think it's a sort of, if they get in, okay. If they get out, okay. But I think it's a little closer than a lot of people are saying.
I totally agree. It's possible that they could end up getting that bubble spot.
Absolutely.
But who knows when it comes to tournament time and how all these games in the
They have a tough team.
They have a tough team.
And I think they'd be a problem.
Absolutely.
Penn State very much on the bubble. You can bet they'll be watching Selection Sunday. Ennis, Bonzie Colson back from that foot fracture for Notre Dame. Are they a threat to win the ACC tournament?
I think they are. I think
No.
a lot of people.
No way.
I think a lot of people are counting them out, and it's because they didn't have Bonzie Colson the entire year. They shoot a lot of threes. They've challenged a lot of good teams. They've beaten UVA. They haven't beaten UVA. They played them very tough. They played UNC very tough. I think this is a very solid team.
So have you looked at the bracket yet?
I've taken a little peek.
So
yeah.
they would have to be Pitt. They'd have to be Virginia Tech.
They've already beat Pitt.
Virginia Tech is hot right now.
Virginia Tech is hot, but they're also very inconsistent.
And then if they beat Virginia Tech, they have to beat Duke. And then
they can beat Duke.
No, they can't.
They can definitely
No!
beat Duke. Any team in the NCAA can beat Duke. I'm sorry, they can. Duke can't play. I've said this so many times. Duke can't play defense. They have a terrible point guard. They have an inconsistent point guard. And they're just not that good. They're an overrated team. Bagley is good. Allen is inconsistent, but he's good.
Well, I guess
What
we'll
else?
just have. So let's say they beat Duke. Let's take that and just run with it. Then they have to beat UVA, which I know you said that they
They're
already.
a beatable team.
UVA is the best team in the conference.
They are
super strong,
Absolutely.
and they're confident. And I don't think that Notre
Right.
Dame's coming back from this injury is going to really be enough.
So the key to beating UVA is shooting outside shots. This team is top 50 in the entire NCAA in shooting three-pointers.
They are, but
they force you to shoot three-pointers, and that's what Notre Dame will do.
I think they'll beat Pitt. I think they'll beat Virginia Tech, but there's no way they're going to make it into. They're not going to win the
ACC tournament. Definitely going to be heavily contested. Fun to watch. Last question, Megan. Texas edged out West Virginia to really strengthen their bubble status. Of the two Big 12 teams, Texas and Baylor, who has a better chance to be in the last 4 in rather than the first 4 out?
I mean, Texas and Baylor are identical in statistics if you look at them.
I don't think they're identical.
Well, I mean, if you look at win-loss record and percentage and all that stuff, and the
identical.
teams they've played, the Big 12 has been hyper-competitive, as we mentioned earlier. So I just don't. It was hard for me. I picked Baylor. I think they are stronger and more confident than Texas, and I think it's about time that program really got going again. And I think that the eagerness to be in the tournament is going to be enough for them, and I feel like Texas doesn't have that drive.
I also picked Baylor, and I'm gonna add another point on to that, saying that Baylor really the only bad losses they suffered was TCU and Kansas State.
Absolutely.
I'm also gonna sort of counter that and say that Texas has Mo Bamba, and they're a tough team.
Definitely a good player. 2 teams trying to get in. They're going to watch Selection Sunday for sure. But that is all the time we have for this NCAA block. Thomas will be back here next to break down the youth movement in the NBA.